So in the last episode, we defeated the Ender Dragon. We defeated the Wither. So now we got a beacon, we got our wings, and now it's time to actually shift sails a little bit and sail on over into this part of the world. Because that iron farm is breaking constantly, and I'm getting sick and tired of having to fix it. So we're going to go this way. And of course I picked the best time to do that, and it's the night is setting. And as you can see, I only have one rocket left to my name. I don't have any way to make more rockets or gather even more gunpowder. I got a mess load of sugarcane over there growing in preparations for today's episode. That's right, this whole area is going to be our industrial district. I gotta get the beacon set up, I gotta start doing some terraforming, and then we can build some awesome farms. And I'm going to take that iron farm over there, I'm gonna plop it over here, but it's gonna be a quad iron farm. But before I can even get rocking and rolling, I need to make sure I have a way to repair my tools, because just trading with those villagers over there is not cutting it anymore. So I think it's time to actually hop back into the nether and build an ender. Now, this will be my first time ever constructing an ender, so we'll just see how well this goes. Because eventually, we're going to need to be going back and forth a lot to repair tools, especially if this mountain right behind me is going bye-bye. So welcome back to Minecraft with Q, episode 6. My name is Q, but you all can call me Death Basher, and I hope you're excited for what we got in store for today. Well, now that I got that taken care of, and I got the beacon set up, it's time to head into terraforming mode. So I'm thinking what's going to happen is just basically smoothing out this area just a little bit. Right around this area will be the starting point. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit, kind of fill in some of these holes, make the terrain not so rough. This whole forest will end up going. That whole forest down there is going to go as well. And eventually, that behemoth of a mountain is going away, slowly but surely. So I got some shulker boxes set up down there just to hold all the resources that I will be gathering once the terraforming does commence. Before we get going, where's my iron ingot? Right here. It is time to activate. Oh, I did it wrong. I need to add one more row of iron blocks. Whoopsie. Now can actually have haste too. So as we can see now, we have our haste 2. And of course, again, poor planning on me, it's now nighttime, so I need to quickly sleep. Now that the terraforming is done, we can actually start the massive project, and I've already gotten a leg up. As you can see, all of these shulker boxes behind me. They're all filled with all of the resources that we are going to need to actually start this big build, because these shulker boxes, they're going to turn into something massive that is going right here. Also, if you can tell in the voice, something has changed. Oh, what might be changing, you asked? Well, I got myself a new mic thanks to my buddy, my pal, my best friend, Babsy Babes. Which, by the way, check out his stuff if you want to see some cool other things, and if you like German people, because I like German people and they're pretty cool, so check out his stuff. Link in the description down below. From what you could tell of the time lapse, the terraforming is pretty much done. However, this side is not quite finished because got to do some more deforestation. But what I really want to get into is building up our rocket factory that's going to be going here. So the lay of the land is sloped out pretty good. We have our entrance coming in from the main village all the way over to this way, which we do need to build a road, and that's going to come shortly here. We got some different alterations of the terrain. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with this section right here. I was thinking something cool. I'm not entirely sure yet, but maybe you could let me know down in the comments. Basically, just trying to keep this area not so flat, but different levels, so it's interesting in the fact. And with this being the most flattest area and the biggest area, this is where it's going to go. Because honestly, this project is huge. By huge, I mean like 3 wheelbarrows and 2 whales huge, because apparently us Americans will use anything but the metric system to measure things out. So I need to get my butt in gear. I need to start crafting up some items to make sure that I got everything and double checking my list of all the resources needed to build said factory. Also, the resource pack for intrusive armor has not quite been updated to 1.21.4, which I did update the world to 1.21.4, which eventually we will go explore the Pale Garden, but that's now or tomorrow. Maybe it'll be the next adventure. Who knows? But yeah, that's why you can't really see my beautiful skin. Updating mods to the new versions. Waiting on things is always a fun battle. Just like that, folks, the rocket factory is complete. Well, not necessarily. Yeah, there were some monsters underneath there, and yeah, got into a little scuttlebutt, if you will. But the main groundation for this is done. The inside is not looking too good. So I'm going to explain to you the whole purpose of this giant factory. So this back section right here is going to be where the creeper farm is. And on either side of the walls right here, there's going to be sugarcane farm on this side and sugarcane farms on this side. And yeah, you can kind of see the lava dripping right there. That is because of a little bit of a detail that I added. So we're going for the vibe of steampunk, right? So steampunk, steam, punky, gears, and all that sense, right? Well, this is still very in the early stages of, well, the whole entire build actually. So right here we have part of a holding tank of lava, and then down here, this is also the holding tank for the lava, which is going to help generate the power for the actual factory itself. Which, yeah, it is a bit overscale if you ask me, but in reality, it's really, like, once I get the details put in, it's going to be really, really, really beautiful. We did some basic stuff with the bricks and texturing with granite walls to give it that depth, and carrying it on over this way, which there are still some things I need to add, and there are things on the backside that I'm also going to need to add, but I do got to clear away a few more of these trees to make that happen. But I figured that this would be a good time to bring it back and explain to you the whole process of what is really going on over here. Because this took me like 4 to 5 hours to build, actually. I think I started this at like 12, and it's currently now like 4 o'clock. So but it's going to be worth it in the end. So that way I no longer ever have to craft. That's right. Hopefully I can figure out auto crafting and create rockets. For the detailing part, I'm not going to bore you guys with it. So with the magic of editing, boom, it's done. This took me some more time. This like actually took me another 3 to 4 hours, because I also put in the sugarcane farm. As you can see, basic, simple sugarcane farm. We got your observers, you got your pistons, you got your sugarcane. This is actually set up on a detection thing that where when the observers go off, it sends a pulse into another observer, down into a line of redstone dust to activate the minecart. So that way the minecarts aren't going constantly at all times, causing lag and all those other issues. So once the sugarcane actually grows up above said observer, it'll then trigger the minecart to send it along to pick up the items. See, just like that. Actually, that was perfect timing. I couldn't plan that even better. Yeah, ugly brick wall. You know, I had extra bricks. I overestimated just how much brick I was going to need. This is our rudimentary creeper farm. And that's what the backside of this building of the rocket factory is for. And I got to go up 120 something blocks to actually make this creeper farm work. So the next fun part is actually going to be figuring out how to get the gunpowder from there and get the sugarcane from this set of chests and these set of chests to then somehow, some way, something magical into autocrafters to create the rockets for us. And yeah, I need to design the floor somehow, some way to make it actually more beautiful. That is on my list of things to do. Here's the issue. My shulker boxes got so unorganized, like crazy unorganized. Well, that's actually organized, but needless to say, I need to actually spend some time reorganizing these shulker boxes and actually putting things away into, well, the stone and dirt storage unit down here in our mine shaft, which is still not complete, but I have started working on the actual corridor heading down to these strip mines. Slowly but surely, maybe a live stream. Who knows? But before I want to shift gears onto another farm in the industrial district, I do need to clear out my shulker boxes and get more organized in that sense so I can gather more resources for what we're going to need for the next project. Now that I've organized all of my shulker shells, boxes, and put them all away, it's time for me to gather up resources for the next farm. So first off, going to need to gather up some podzol, going to need to gather up some brown mushrooms, and I'm going to need to check to make sure that my redstone box is ready for the next project of the redstone requirements that I'm going to need for this farm. Now that we're back over here in the industrial district, and I believe I got everything all set in stone and ready to go. It's a matter of building it. Also, I discovered a little problem after doing my terraforming. So, in order for this farm to work, I'm going to have to run redstone lines down here, and these mobs are going to be an issue. So, I need to clear them out and place down torches to prevent future spawns, and also to help out with the rocket factory for the spawn rates. So hopefully this goes well. So now that I got that taken care of, what needs to happen to grow these big mushrooms, which are where? To grow these big brown mushrooms, I need to create an 8x8 grid, and then however long, however wide I want. They need to be at least 8 blocks separated, so that way the actual mushroom block of the canopy doesn't conflict with either or. So now that we got the 6 brown mushrooms in place, simply we're going to put dispensers behind all of them, which will be filled with bone meal. And then somewhere located over here will be like a little building of some sorts with a lever in it, so that way when I flick the lever, it'll trigger a clock, and it'll send signal to all 6 dispensers at once, spamming bone meal to make them grow. So in order to actually get this working and to actually set up a redstone signal from a lever over there to hit all of these dispensers, is first off, I need to actually remove this block and put a polished andesite block underneath with a piece of redstone dust and do that. So that way I can hook up the redstone network down underneath. So I need to do that to all of these pistons and then set up the redstone wiring down underneath. So now that I got all the redstone wiring actually in place, this is a simple clock where flick the lever up there to push the piston down with this polished andesite block here. It'll activate the clock, and then it'll send a signal all the way to all 6 dispensers. Now it's a matter of throwing in bone meal in all of these dispensers just to actually see how well this works and if I did all of my math right, which I'm hoping that I did. And a flick of the lever. And just like that, now we got these mushroom brown blocks. Now, you might be asking, why? Why did I do this? Why did I take the time? And why do I need brown mushroom blocks? Well, it's because I actually want to texture the pathways, and we're going to need to add a road coming into our industrial district. So I needed these brown mushroom blocks to do a little bit of texturing and detailing in the pathway, so it's just not that boring, plain old coarse dirt. So I'm going to spend some time gathering up these brown mushroom blocks, and hopefully I can farm up quite a bit, and obviously it doesn't take too much bone meal to grow these things, so let's get to it. After spending a couple of days, in-game that is, harvesting up some mushrooms, we have almost a shulker box full of brown mushroom blocks. Also, while being over here and messing around with this, the rocket factory was working. However, the automation of the factory is not quite up and running because I've done a good amount of redstone today and my brain is hurting and trying to think of a way of how I want to do it, because I want it to look really cool and have like tubes and everything like floating around of the material so you can see it actually in production. So for now, it's still stuck to manual crafting of the rockets, but that'll change in the future. So now that we actually have the rockets, we can do a little aerial view of what's going on over here. The rocket factory is looking really, really fantastic. We got our mushroom farm set up over here, and the next thing is, well, we need to get a pathway actually set in from this side all the way over to our starter area. And I'm surprised that you're still working, because half the time you break. So I think we need to get rocking and rolling and actually get a pathway hooked up from our main village all the way over there to our industrial district. So let's go! Well, I guess I didn't really need that much of the brown mushroom block, but maybe we could get our hands on some rooted dirt and sprinkle it in here as well with like some spruce buttons or dark oak buttons, or even just regular stone pebbles to kind of make it look like actual like pebbles with stone buttons and such. I don't know, we'll figure it out. The pathway ends here because I'm still uncertain about this area right here. I'm not quite sure how the pathways in the industrial district are going to lay out because I got to build some more builds, and I got plenty of things planned for over here, including some of those guys over there, which been trying to breed them, and I think I keep losing them, but I'm not sure. I got to make some beehives, and I got to work with bees again, and I like working with bees, but they can be kind of scary sometimes. Before we wrap things up today, I need to travel 128 blocks above the rocket factory, so that way the creeper spawns will be more increased and only these chunks will be loaded in, so that way we can get all of the creepers that we need to keep up with the actual sugar cane that's being produced on a regular basis, because there's no entity cap or mob cap or anything for the sugar cane itself. It's the creepers that we got to worry about. So I'm building myself up here a dirt pillar of 128 blocks and then building a little purple glass AFK area. So that way I can fly on up here and hide myself from all of the bad things and keep myself safe up in the sky. Plus, purple is my favorite color. It's really crazy to think that we started off this world over here in this taiga village and revamped it to our very own. Then we moved our way over here to have an excuse for a woodland lumberyard, just to house all of these crazy different wood types and to be a lazy tree farm. Then we came down over here into the villagers of the fishermen's, so that way could have an excuse for fishing and housing different villagers. Then we moved on over here to the industrial district, which is looking really, really good in my opinion. Oh, I'm so excited for this area, and I can't wait to add more and more builds with a steampunk vibe to it. Oh, I cannot wait. So now I'm going to spend some time AFKing here at the creeper farm to make sure that we get quite a bit of gunpowder, because we are going to need it for the next episode. Big plans are coming, and if you guys did like this episode and you want to see more of this content, make sure to hit that like button. Oh, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe button. It really does help me in growing the channel and letting me know you guys want to see more of this stuff and you're willing to stick around. Plus, my goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, 2025. So that'd be much appreciated on your behalf. Also, if you have ideas of other things to add to the industrial district, drop them down there in the comments. Also, got all kinds of cats and dogs and villagers that all need names. So make sure to put those down there in the comments as well. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a good day.